All right, we're back. Casino Guitars. A little bit different. We got a special guest, Mr. Eddie Neinville.
Mr. Jonathan, thanks for having me, man. Big fan of the show.
Thank
Big fan
you,
of the show, man. And it's such an amazing operation you guys got going
Thanks,
here,
man.
So thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming up. We met not too long ago at a show. You were playing, Eddie was playing First Friday in Southern Pines. Crushed it, by the way. If you've not seen these guys live, you got to do it.
Man, I tell you, there was no one up there, and then we invited you up, and as the crowd just came up, man.
They're like, oh, God, okay. We see this guy all the time. We're tired of him.
Well, you killed it, man. I think we did Traveling, man. We did Albert King, and you played Slide on a Strat.
Oh, yeah.
Which Slide on a Strat, Lowell George, man. There's
something different about that, right?
It's so good, man.
It's very nice. So, no, that was ridiculously fun. The best thing about that night was we played our set, and I was the opener, so I was trying to be like nice, and my amp was kind of on the quieter side. And then I get it with you guys, and I'm like, holy crap! I was just diving, which was very fun.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of that evening, was jamming with you.
I think I was playing a Music Man, RD, whatever, I don't know what they are. I got it from my buddy, and I was just at a gig in Macon, Georgia, and I looked over my buddy, and he had a bassman, a tweed bassman, and I'm like, turn it up. Like, we play so loud, man, and he's like, I'm all the way, and I turned down a little bit. I need to get this plexiglass, like
I need to do that too.
But if I see somebody doing this, I'll at least turn the amp around.
I try to look because we play a lot in like small clubs, and I try to look if there's like the little bubble around where the side of the stage where my amp is, then I know. Yeah, I'm probably.
You know what I can't stand though? A lot of these venues, they have the mics on the drums, but they have just a little circle plexiglass. I can't stand that.
Do you think it helps?
It doesn't.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't help at all. I mean, my drummer David, he hits so hard. I mean, you could put him on a little toy kit, and he'd still need no mics.
So you travel a lot. You're touring all around the country.
Yeah.
What do you notice, like in a lot of the venues you're in, is volume an issue? Are they making you turn down?
Well, I'll tell you a good tip, guitar players, and I started doing. I think I told you this back a while. Take your volume knob off. And, on the road, I tell the sound guy it just fell off. They'll never know what it's actually on. Like you take.
So you're saying they can't visually see? No, oh my God, he's on 8.
No, I know. So I've had that before, where literally they come by, they say, this is not a 9 club,
right?
But I on the deluxe reverb, I take the volume knobs off, I turn them all the way up, never had a complaint.
That's really. God, that's brilliant.
Well, you got to have a loud drummer. Like I said, and a loud drummer is not a bad thing, but if the drummer's loud enough, usually you can turn it up a little bit loud. But if the drummer's quiet...
That makes a lot of sense, man. I mean, you're not a pedal guy.
Not really. I'm just telling you, I just got into the MXR 100. I just been binging Some Girls by Rolling Stones, and I just want that, just my imagination, just a telly with a phaser on a tweed amp all the way up, man.
But like so the night that we opened for you guys, you were playing an Esquire through that Music Man, killer tone. Oh. Like it was like that stinging kind of tone in like a really good way. You know what I mean? Like it was cut, made it sound great. So what do you do if you get to a place and they're like, you have to be quieter and you got no pedal? You ever been in that situation?
Well, I do bring a pedal for that instance. Being a kind of a blues soul band, we do play a lot of jazz clubs.
Yep.
I've been recently working with Origin Effects.
Yep.
They make a pedal called Magma 57, I believe.
Okay.
I use that if I absolutely have to be at a quiet volume, because there are some venues like that.
Some of them are just.
But man, I've been getting away. I have a tungsten tweed amp. I literally, a lot of these old curtains, at these clubs, I just turn it around. Everything's mic'd anyway.
And right, it makes sense, man.
I just tell the sound guys, I'm like, let the amp be loud. Just pull a little bit out of the front of house.
Yep.
Because, once you start adding all those pedals and everything gets all squishy and stuff. Someone told me, get a aux box. I don't even know what is an aux box. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know, because I don't even know if that would be great for you. Because aux box, it's like an attenuator, but the whole idea is, it has attenuation. But instead of your, hearing out of your guitar amp, it can go to the front of house with speaker simulation.
Yeah, when I see an XLR, I run, man.
I know that one too. Well, see, we, like you hear us talking about the Neon Rooster and stuff a lot, and then I play like little kind of dive bars and clubs around here. I don't even mic the amp.
No, I don't.
Like,
I mean,
most of the time, you know what I mean. Like the only thing I run through, like if I set up and do a show with my trio, usually the only thing running through is like the kick drum and the vocals.
Yeah, if I wasn't so on a tweed fix right now, man, I've done this for the last 5 years. I've toured the country and the world with a deluxe reverb.
Yeah.
All the way up on 10. If you want Roy Buchanan, turn the the reverb all the way up. The deluxe reverb. My favorite is the 68 reissue.
I like that one too.
I love that, and I go back and forth between the Basement channel. It doesn't really sound like a Basement. It doesn't.
No,
it doesn't.
It's just they just changed the EQ or whatever.
Yeah, it's such a great amp, though, man. And our van broke down in California, so I had all this gear still out in California. So I literally was on the phone selling it to I hate that I sold it, but I was like, like my dog chewed on it, and my dog since passed away. So it was such a legendary amp for me.
Right.
But it was all the way out in California, and I was like, I don't want to have to deal with that, ship it back, and
or either go out there and drive.
Yeah, because we're going back, but it's going to be months probably. Right. So I sold that, and I got me a low wave drum kit.
There you go. That's. I think if anybody, like, if you've never just been on the road like you guys are on, like you guys are legit on the road. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'll say I'm going on the road now sometimes, but it's like for 2 days, and but
yeah,
there's so many things to deal with like that, right? Like your van, because that was right on the show. You were coming back. You would come back from California, but you guys, I think, had to all caravan here from Atlanta, right? Because your van broke down.
Yeah, our van broke down. We bought Miss James, which is an old Howlin' Wolf tune. So we named her Miss James. Now we got a brand new Transit. I'm not naming it. I'm not naming anything. Not even guitars, nothing. But so Miss James, we survived a massive snowstorm in Nevada and all that. And we were out in California, and it's classic, like a movie. You drive, and we were going to the wine country of Sonoma County. We're just enjoying our day, and all of a sudden, and all of a sudden we had to figure out what the hell we were gonna do. We had to fly back. We had to do and it was so fun because we just gotten out of the Ford Flex with the U-Haul flays. We were pulling out the festivals
right.
with the Ford Flex,
right.
And there's Warren Haynes' bus, there's Grace Potter, and we're pulling up with a U-Haul, and we just got our van and everything, but it had to happen, and that stuff happens on the road, and you just got to be ready for it.
It does happen. I mean, it's funny you're saying that. The 2 times I can think of most recently that I was stranded were both in vehicles we had named. We had this old RV named, we called it Marine, and the band had a song that was actually about, no one knew except us. It was just like a sort of inside joke, but that one burned down on the side of the interstate. Burned down. I told the story on the channel the other day. It literally caught on fire. Don't really know why, but like the cargo bay caught on fire, and the whole thing, our trailer and the RV.
Was it from a little stonage?
I think, dude, it was from, no. I think it was road flares. But yeah, it's a very likely possibility with the dudes I was with. But and then we used to have this horrible old Chevy conversion van we called it the murder van, because it looked like the kind of van that you would like
to get
lure people into and then kill them in some horrible 80s movie. But
yeah, I had a 98 Ford Explorer. That was my first car. We used to tour with that, and we would it didn't have AC, so we'd have to bring our show clothes, because we would get to the gig and our shirt would be so soaked. So we'd put the new shirt on.
That was like the murder van. It had no AC, and when you were going down the road, it was so loose you would just be feeling like this, like you were gonna die. And it died in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
That's a legendary spot. That's a song, man.
There you go.
Down in Bowling Green.
The murder van. It's last gasp.
Yeah, man, the road is crazy, man. It's so different. I mean, even I sound like I'm old or whatever, and I don't mean to say that, but
an old 42-year-old man.
I mean,
life's over.
The reason I say that is because I started touring when I was 15, man. We would go up to New York City. We would go, all around the Southeast, and it was so different, man. It was even less phones and stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I remember when I started out, there was nobody sitting there just doing. I get people at our shows that just sit there the whole show on their phone, like
the whole time, right?
The whole time. I don't know how they do it, but it's changed so much, man. I used to be this 15-year-old kid, with walking into asking club owners like, "Where's my money?"
Right?
Because a lot of them, they didn't want to pay 15-year-old guitar player.
It's wild to me that you were out doing that.
I was
at 15.
I remember. I'm not gonna name any of the bars, but I remember playing in Macon, Georgia, and I was 15 years old. They had a tub of PBR, man. just I started life young, man. I was 15. I went on my first tour when I was like 18. We went. We had no money, man. We had no money. We rented a van, and I saw that one of the shows was the Troubadour.
Right.
And I was like, I don't care what we got to do. Like, we're doing it.
That's awesome.
And there's this crazy story. I probably shouldn't go into it, but I was
go into it.
Nothing
stops Baxter.
Country,
just have at it.
I'm from the country, man. This is a true story, and this is people might click away. But and I remember, I'll never forget it. I had just done a college test because I was about done with music. I was gonna, about to quit, and my uncle had this deer skull. And so I was living with my grandparents at the time, and I'm not a hunter anymore. When you're out in the country, you have nothing to do.
That's what you do. You have to shoot things.
So, well, I didn't even shoot. It was my uncle. And so I was just like, I wanted to put it. It was such a nice rack. I wanted to put it up in our man cave in the double wide trailer.
Yeah.
So I was just like cleaning it up and like boiling it and like,
yep.
and you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying.
And like my grandma's making cornbread, right next to us. That's, health hazards, not a problem out in the country.
It's fine.
And then literally I get a call and I'm like, and I'm about to quit music and we get a call for a 2.5 month tour with a wonderful band called Dorothy.
Cool.
And
I'm familiar with Dorothy. Actually.
Yeah, I love her. Super nice girl. And that it was like I was about to go, and I failed that college test. I would have never got in. It was Georgia perimeter. I mean, it was like a monkey can get in there. And I was like, all right, let's just stick to this. And we did the Fillmore. We did. Since then, I've been to Europe. I mean,
how old were you then? That was when 18.
I was underage. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and you just got back from a European tour.
Just got back.
Now, what's the huge difference, or is there one, between touring the States and Europe?
The appreciation. I feel like there's been this huge drop in America. I remember in 2014, like KEXP.
Yep.
I used to find like Alabama Shakes from there. I used to find all these great bands, and I know they still do it. Maybe the algorithm has changed for me. I don't know.
Sure.
But it seems like in Europe, people are still searching for new music, new roots. If you're American and you play, root style music, you can go to Europe and you can make a living, man, for sure. We went over there and we were blown away by the support.
Why? Because nothing like what you've done, but I've played a few times in Europe and played some music over there, and it seems like, and this was even 10 years ago, it seemed like the attention span where people can like sit in a show and enjoy it and they're not on their phone and they're not doing anything was so much better in Europe. And I don't really understand exactly why. Maybe life is a slower pace.
Life is different, man. I mean, I'll never forget, we were out in France and we were just all sitting around and it was 4:00 on a Tuesday. We're all just drinking a cappuccino. Everyone's around there. People are reading the paper. It feels, in a good way, like a few years back.
Yeah.
And I love that, man. Everything's slower. They appreciate stuff more. The food, even in the gas stations, are good. Man.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It's crazy. I can't wait to go back. We're going back, I think, in March or sometime next year.
Very, very cool.
Can't wait, man.
Anything else fun and exciting on the horizon? Any new music?
We're putting out some new music coming out in January, I believe. We went out in Denver and we made a new record. I don't know. Cool. I don't have a date on that yet, but
awesome.
We're going to be hitting. We got a bunch of dates coming up in America, going to Texas, Colorado.
Awesome. Very cool.
Everywhere, man.
You said you're hitting the road again in January?
January, our first show starts out in Florida at the 30A Festival, and then we do a bunch of touring, man.
Very, very cool.
So come out, see us on the road, man.
Come out, look for this guy. I'm telling you, killer band, killer live show. You don't want to miss Eddie 9 Volt. If you are anywhere near them, go see them. It is fantastic. So great guitar playing, but not just like sometimes I'll go see blues rock stuff or like blues or soul stuff, and if people think of it as guitar-y music.
Yeah. I barely play solo.
That's what I'm saying. Like you have good songs, and there's something to be said for that. There's a difference in just seeing like great guitar playing or great musicianship. But when you pair that with great songs, it's an experience, and I think that's what you do.
Thank you, man.
So I am a fan for sure. So check them out. I think that's it. Anything else you want to
Thanks
throw
for
out
having
there?
me, brother.
Dude.
I love you guys, man. Check out Casino Guitars, man. Come to the shop. It's so beautiful, man. You guys got a lot of cool stuff in here, man.
Man, I appreciate that.
And I could spend all day just plugging in, man.
In fact, that is what we will do after this.
Love it, brother.
So, anyways, thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell. We will see you guys next time.
Wherever the bell is.
Somewhere. Press it.